Hello, chess family. It's me, National Master Jesse James, and today I'm going to be going over some bullet games I got to play against the world's best and most famous chess players. All right, first one I'm going to be going over is one of my favorite games. I did lose, but I did get to play against the very famous Magnus Carlsen. All right, well, not just famous, right? One of the world's best chess players in history, the GOAT. And I got to play two games against him. This one I lost, but not as bad. All right, here we go. E4, G6, I got the white pieces. D4, Bishop G7, Pawn C3, C5 here, a very rare sideline here. And I found that I can actually take this pawn and hold onto it. And that's why I actually did well in the opening, at least for a little while, against Magnus. Later on, he just outplays me in the middle game, which is not that crazy to say. All right, pawn takes on C5. You can actually hold on to this pawn. Knight A6 attacking, Bishop B3, defending, queen c7 to attack the pawn again, and here I play bishop takes on a6, a very common idea for me. Now, after pawn takes, black does get a lot of compensation here, and actually gets to attack on e4, and attack the c pawn, and they get the open b file. So they get plenty of compensation here. In fact, the computer only gives us 0.5 advantage. I'm not even up a full pawn here. Which makes sense because I played this position quite a bit, and I've had to learn how to play this very, very accurately. I'm actually happy that I got to play Magnus in this because, well, I'm sure he didn't realize how much I would know this line. Knight d2 to defend. It's very important, like I said, to defend this pawn as soon as possible. Those are my weaknesses. And bishop b7, pawn to h3, a weird-looking move. A lot of times what happens is the knight goes to f6 to attack, and, well, the knight will go to g4, and the bishop won't have a good square, at least without losing the pawn. So here I just played h3 to stop knight g4 ideas in the future. Knight f6, queen c2, queen over to c6. He puts pressure on the e4 pawn right away here, and here I have to play something I don't typically play, which is pawn to f3. I do get to hang on to my extra pawn here, but, well, I don't like my position as much. Usually I get to play a little bit more aggressive. Castles, knight e2, d5, and here I did miss the best move. I gave him all the activity he wanted. I went ahead and played pawn to e5 here. Here I lose the pawn back right away. Taking here would obviously be very bad, as knight takes on d5, and the knight becomes very active, and the bishop has to move away. The best move for me that I missed was pawn takes on d6, en passanting and just letting me get a nice passed pawn over here. Yeah, of course Magnus will not miss this stuff. Here I played the very bad pawn to e5, so he plays the best move, knight d7. He's won back his pawn now, as e5 and c5 are both hanging. Pawn f4 to defend the center pawn. Takes, knight d4 for example off the queen. Queen back to c7, castles, pawn to e6. Again, my position is not too bad here, but here I did lack finding a plan. Magnus was playing so fast, and I'm just trying to keep up with him that, yeah, it did not go too well for me. Knight f3, a5, knight over to g5. Of course, here now I see knight b5, d6 is definitely an idea, especially putting the knight to the other good square. Bishop a6, attacking the rook, but also winning this d3 square, as you can see right here. Definitely not the best place to put the rook. Knight g5, knight back to f3, rook b8, a very good move putting pressure on this b2 pawn. Knight b3, trying to make some trades here. Of course, he says no. He plays a knight to d3, attacking b2, and over here on e1. Rook over to d1, and here he plays a very strong move, a4. Now he's going to be winning his pawn back, plus have a very active rook on the second rank. Ugh. Knight d4 takes. Well, if you're going to be down a pawn, you might as well grab a pawn. Queen takes on a4. Yeah, I am up a pawn here, but definitely in a worse position, as black's pieces are just so active. In fact, at this point, he can just grab the pawn. For some reason, he did not do this. He went ahead and played bishop c4. I think the reason is because he's playing so fast. Rook d2, just trying to defend. Rook takes, rook takes. Of course, trades are good for me. Bishop f8, trying to get this bishop into the game and active. Queen d1. I realized my king was going to be in trouble at some point, so I go ahead and bring her back. Knight c5, queen d1, knight e4. Rook back to d1. Now c3 and a2 are weak, and he takes advantage of that real fast with queen a5. Rook over to a1. Queen takes, knight takes, f5. At this point, I'm just trying to survive. We're both getting pretty low on time. Well, at least I was at this point. G takes on f5, knight h4. Rook over to b2, bishop c1, check, king h2. He's pre-moving, so he didn't even take the free knight over here. Rook b6, knight takes, bishop f4. Rook back to f4, g3 to defend. Rook b2, this is just active now. He has the bishop pair and the rook, all very good. King g1, here I do get to claim I did get into a winning position. As he was playing so fast here, he was just flagging me. Check, king h1, bishop f3, knight takes on f3. At this point, it really didn't matter too much, as I think I had only seconds on the clock versus his 34 or 35 seconds. d4, knight g1, d3, knight f3, rook h2. Yes, Magnus Carlsen flags me at this point. All right, let's go on to our next game. I got to play against Nakamura. Oh, a little prelude from what is going to happen. All right, here we go. I was playing the white side of this. E4, G6, D4, Bishop G7. These guys like to play the fianchetto system against me. That's okay. I love my center. Pawn C3 here. I love this pawn chain. D6, Bishop D3, Knight D7, F4. I mean, I was very happy to get this, and I felt very confident. I would have liked to have definitely done better in this game, but hey, against this guy, I guess it's not too crazy. Pawn to E5, a very good move. I wish I would have gotten my pawn to E5 before he did, but yeah, he's not going to let me get everything I want in life. Knight F3, Knight E7, pawn takes, castles over here. I do this so I can open up my F file for my rook. Castles, King H1, pawn to C5, another very good move. You have to go D5 here to maintain the advantage, but this really closes the position, and this gives him lots of time to maneuver his pieces. And I don't know if you know this, but Nakamura is definitely one of the fastest chess players and also most accurate chess players in bullet chess. Okay, Knight F6, C4, Knight to E8, Knight C3, Knight D6. The knight goes to its great square over here. Now this passed pawn doesn't mean too much, and the knight's doing a great job by controlling it and also making threats toward the pawns. And here he set this up just like he's playing a King's Indian defense. He's going to be playing F5 soon and attacking my king side. Here we go. Queen E1. I was trying to attack him. Did not work out too well. B6, Bishop G5. I mean, I'm sure he was very happy to see this. This is just free temples for him. F6, Bishop back. Pawn to A5 over here. Queen H4. The typical idea is to go Bishop H6 over here. He does not allow that. Bishop to D7. B3. Rook F7 here. Rook over to E1. Queen F8. Now no more Bishop H6 ideas. I mean, yeah, typically they will go queenside here, which will allow me to create lots of kingside attacking chances. Nakamura does not let me. Queen G3, H5. Knight H4. Trying to put pressure on this G6 pawn. King over to G8. I was definitely hoping for him to play G5 as F5 can become a weak square. No, he did not do that. Bishop B2. I'm maybe thinking about sacrificing ideas with knight takes, bishop takes. And here we played bishop H6, a very good move here. By making trades off, he stops a lot of my ideas. And, well, I can't attack without my pieces. Here I do have a minimal advantage, but it's just slowly dissipating. I went ahead and played over. Takes queen H6, rook back. Rook over to F8. You can see here he's just slowly building up over here on the king side. Knight over to F3. I am running out of ideas. Queen over to E3. A very good move here, which is attacking my pawn and the undefended knight here. Pawn to H4 here. I have my little trap. Knight to G5 check, which will win the queen. Of course, he doesn't miss this. King over to G7. He does not fall for my simple tactical tricks. Knight to D1, knight takes, queen over. Here he's forcing the queen trade, and he's also looking for nice forks here. I didn't go and trade queens. Bishop to D3, check, king over, takes. He's not gonna allow me to keep queens on the board, especially now that he has a winning position as far as material goes. King takes, bishop F5. You can see the trades just start coming. I try not to trade, but with each move, things just get worse and worse here. And oh my gosh, yeah. Here he even finishes me out with a nice little checkmate over here with Anastasia. Oof. I'm very happy to play Nakamura, not too happy with the result. All right, here we go. I got to actually play Miss Botez herself, and well, I got the white pieces here, and we got to play in a French defense. I like to play the Monte Carlo variation over here. Knight F6, Knight C3, pawn takes, bishop takes. You get a very active position, although you do get the isolated pawn. Those that fear playing isolated pawn should play more chess. H6 over here, castles, bishop F5. Rook E1, we got a very active position for our pieces. Bishop F4, takes, knight to D5. Yeah, here, this is a bullet game. She just played really fast, and, well, just let me win a pawn, so I took it. Knight takes, bishop takes over here. Now attacking B7 pawn. Should we grab another pawn? Why not? Bishop takes. Queen takes, rook takes. Now I've got the bishop pair and extra pawns over here, so, yeah, I'm just too happy. Bishop over backwards. Knight C4. This knight's not doing too well over here. B3. I'm going to move my pawn anyways. Knight over to A3. Let's get the last rook into the game. Rook over. And E6 here. A nice little discovery tactic idea. Plus, I want to make a pawn trade. And also, well, I'm going to get my rook to the 7th rank pretty soon here. Bishop takes. Bishop takes over on B8. She just misses the idea. It's a bullet game, so no blame here. Rook C7, knight over to B5, rook B7. Whenever you're up, go ahead and make some trades over here. Takes, king over to F8, rook C1, king E7, A4. At this point, this is really just technique. Knight C7, B4, Of course, if she had taken, I would just play rook c7 check and then play over. Bishop c6 check, check again. Yeah, trades, rook over. Winning some more material over here. Like I said, this was just a nice game as far as technique goes. Yeah, here I was able to go ahead and beat here. All right, on to it. The next famous chess player I got to play, Daniel or Danya Naroditsky. And, well, I've played him, I think, at least 6 times. This guy is a speed demon. I will dare say I think he is definitely faster than Nakamura as far as it goes with speed. Now, as far as accuracy goes, I definitely think that Nakamura is more challenging because he's making threats. And, well, I mean, Daniel definitely outplays me in this game. D4, here he had the white pieces. Oh, I hate to play against him and Bortnik after they wrote that book about the Jabava London. They both played it against me, and I just get terrible positions each time. Knight of 6, knight c3. They just know the position so well. D5, bishop f4, here it comes. E3, and they got the Jabava London. A6, I have learned the defense of it, but they play it so fast and they know it's so deep. And they play this so fast too. C5, takes. Bishop over to D3, bishop back to D6, trying to win this E5 square. It's such an interesting opening here, and they always get a very good attack each time. E4, very good move. D4, knight over to E2, E5, knight G3. I was actually pretty happy with my position here, and I do have a small advantage, but against these guys, especially because they're so fast, it's just not going to be good enough. Knight H4, castles. You can see here that he's going after the F5 square. Queen back to D7. Pawn to F4, trying to open up the rook. He's trying to attack my king side now. G6, kicking the knight. Knight check, king over. Pawn to F5. King has to take here. Takes. Queen to D2, king back. Queen G5, a very nice move. Now he has knight F5, knight H5 ideas. Particularly rook takes, queen takes, then knight to H5. Let's go ahead and run away. Rook F2, he's doubling up the rooks here. Although it does say black is better, white does have lots of attacking chances here. Pawn F6, let's kick the queen away. Rook over, B3, A5. I'm trying to win over here on the queen side, which is taking too long over here. Bishop C4, good move, queen E7. Rook over, now the new idea is to take so that he can win on F6 over here. Rook F8, A4, knight H6. This move is so good. Now I'm not going to be able to make too much progress over here on the queen side. H3, rook C8, queen D3, knight B4, queen D2, rook C7. Again, my idea was something like this, but because of this F6 weakness, it's not going too well. Knight E2, rook C6 to defend, rook over. Here he finds a very nice square over here on D3. Knight F7, knight takes, pawn takes, queen to D3. Here I realized I should have definitely sacrificed earlier and kept the knight on G8 to just defend, and I would have created some chances. But when you're playing bullet, especially against these guys, they're just playing so fast, you're just trying to keep up. Knight G5, queen G3, H5, queen back to D3, knight E6. Here looking at this F4 square. Here was a little trap which he did fall for. I mean, he still has a very good position here. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm the one who fell for it. Knight F4, rook takes. The rook was trapped there. Takes. And now the new threat is rook over to F7 check. Queen E5, not the best. I definitely should have brought the rook over here with either F6 or F8. Queen E5 check, king H8, D3. I'm not sure how I was able to survive this, but I did. Pawn takes, queen check, and I trade off here. Unfortunately, I am just so low on time here. And yeah, rook to D7 was my final mistake. Here he played bishop B6, and I just resigned. I think I only had like less than 5 seconds versus his 30 plus seconds, so it's game over at this point. All right, on to my next one. Ooh, I get to play against Bortnik. This is actually one of my few wins against the 3,000 chess players. Here we go. D4, again, they're playing that Jabava London against me, and I had no idea at this time. And man, he's a speed demon. He just played this so fast. Knight C6, pawn takes. Here he is already in a plus position. Bishop C4, check D5, force move. Bishop back, bishop E6, knight F3. He's very happy about this position. Knight to G5 is coming. Queen D7, knight G5, bishop over to F5. I missed this move. He plays this very strong move. Pawn to E4, and you cannot take back with the pawn due to the pin. Okay, here we go. Bishop E6, knight takes, queen to D3, knight over to A5. Notice that he could not take here on D5 with the pawn just because of the pin. So E5 got played. Knight takes, pawn takes, knight to E4. This was just a bad move, but I was underneath so much pressure, I just wanted to take a little bit away. So you know what? Take my pawn. Just let me do something for now. And of course, he takes the free pawn. A6, castles queen side, and here, well, I actually start playing decent here. C6, G3, A5. Let's go ahead and try and attack the king. Pawn takes. takes, takes. Here he trades off because the queenside attack was coming in. Well, why not trade off? You're up an extra pawn here, right? Rook over to d8, rook over d1, takes, takes. King over to f7. I need to control this d7 square. Rook to d7, he gets it. Pawn to b5 here. He's going to be trying to win these pawns. It's 3 pawns versus 2, which means he can make a pass pawn here pretty soon. Rook b7, b4. Bishop g5, bishop f8, defending. Bishop e3, king e6. Rook over to b5, h5. And this is where I spotted my idea. I have a candidate pass pawn over here, which I'm going to try to make pass pawn very soon. c3, king f5, bishop d4, e6. Now I got this pawn staying here, so it can become a target in the future. g5, king to d3. Now you see that my idea is actually coming into fruition. h4, rook b7, king g6. I'm not going to let his rook get behind because that'll stop my pass pawn. At this point, the game is equal as far as computer's saying. Takes, takes. His king comes over. h3, king over to f3, bishop h6, king g3. He doesn't fall for my tricks. Rook h8. There really is no good discovery here. King takes on h3, bishop check, bishop g5. But here he blunders with pawn takes. And now, well, simple chess, just rook check, and I got to take the bishop. Now, even though I was up the bishop, the computer is still saying this is about equal because of these passed pawns. How do I win against him, especially because I know he's faster than me? I'm going to use a cheap shot. After pawn takes here, I played rook b4 really fast. And here, he played king f3 because he already had pre-moved it because he assumed I was going to check him. Well, I used the cheap shot to win. Rook takes on b7. Now it was just up an extra rook and bishop. With that being said, I barely was able to win this because, again, he is just so fast. I'll go ahead and run through this real quick. And you can see that he was playing so fast, and I'm doing a very bad job at converting this to a win. But when you only got seconds on the clock, what can you do? Here I finally was able to cut off the king and now make the queen, and I barely won with like 0.0 seconds. I think he still had 3 seconds left over here. But I was able to beat this very, very strong player. All right, on to the next one. We got 2 left here. I got to play against Kamsky, and then I got to play against Nihal Soren. All right, Kamsky, here we go. b3, already a move I don't like to see against my opponents. The Nimza Larsen over here. Knight f6, pawn to e6. And I'm just going to play this nice and simple. He's playing the double fianchetto system. Now the orangutan, h3. Really just letting me create all the weaknesses. I mean, the respect I get from these grandmasters is really just amazing. Pawn to f4 here. Bishop b7, knight f3, e5. Finally, I feel confident enough to open up the center as well. His king is still there, so let's try to attack it. Castles, pawn to d4, and computer's giving me a decent little advantage here. Pawn takes, knight takes, pawn takes, knight takes, check, takes, takes, takes. You can see here that I'm actually pretty happy with this position. Although I am down a pawn here, his king side is now opened up, and the dark squares are weak. Here I'm able to try and take advantage of that. Takes, takes, knight over to d5. You can see the dark squares are definitely mine now. c4, knight c7, bishop back, knight e6. You can see again, these dark squares are just weak. Queen over to f1, knight to g5, a nice move here. Here, attacking the rook and also this pawn here on h3. Rook over to f5, knight takes on h3 check. Takes, takes, a nice little tactic to win a pawn, and, well, I'm definitely better now. That being said, it's not easy to win against someone as a world candidate as he was. All right, bishop c3, bishop check, king over, rook over to c2, bishop b1, queen to d7, queen f3, rook over. I mean, yeah, this is definitely making progress, but he's so solid at defending. It was a lot harder than I would expect. Bishop f2, doubling the rooks. Again, you would think this would be nice and easy, but yeah, here he plays the right move. Takes, takes, takes. And this queen against the king I thought was going to be a lot easier, but I end up making a mistake and get into a losing position. Bishop back, takes, takes, queen over. I'm trying to win some pawns here, but again, with his accurate play, it's just very hard. And these passed pawns are just running forward. Pretty soon I lose the bishop, and all I'm doing now is really just trying to flag him. And that's eventually what I did here. Yeah, I beat him on time in a bullet game. Wow. All right, on to my last game. I got to play against the very strong Nihal Soren. All right, here we go. I'm 2,500. He's 3,100. It seems about even. Here we go. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6. d4, we got the Scotch, but he transposes by playing knight to f6. Pawn takes, knight takes. Now we've transposed into a Petrov variation, which I was very happy about. Bishop c4, knight c5, knight c3, bishop e7, bishop e3, castles, queen d2. I'm going to be a little bit aggressive here and castle queenside. I've got really good control over the center. And, well, now I'm going to go for my kingside attack. a6, king b1, b5. Of course, he's playing the right plan here too, which is to try and attack on the queen side whenever you have the opposite side castling. Bishop b3, knight e5. Yeah, you can hunt down my bishop. Knight to d5, takes. Bishop over, rook over. Definitely not the best move here. I should have just pushed the pawns up right away, but it took me a while. Again, these guys are playing so fast. I'm really just trying to keep up. Once I finally realized what was happening, I was like, oh yes, I need to attack the king side. G4, here we go. H4, A4, B4. Of course, I'm not going to make any kind of pawn trades here unless I have to, because, well, opening up lines will get me attacked. Check, king over, queen takes, bishop takes, threatening checkmate over here, so don't lose that. Bishop back to d2, bishop f8, h5, c6, queen to d3, bishop c5, g5, takes. Now this is a big triumph, as even though I'm down a pawn over here, I've opened up the h file. So the rook goes over to h1, and here he made his blunderful move. He took the pawn. Definitely not the best move here. It gives me free tempos to get over here to the king side. I didn't do this the right way. Bishop, queen f1, h3 was best. Here I played queen e2, trying to get to h2. And bishop g3, but that's okay. I figure out the idea. Queen g2, knight to d4, a very nice move here. You could definitely mess this up by playing something like knight takes on d4, and after bishop takes on e5. White's still better here, but the bishop is going to stop the checkmating ideas, at least so fast. Also, you got to get thread over here. So I think he probably would have won if this would have happened, because, yeah, this is just really tough here. Bishop over to c3, queen over to b6, queen h3, queen c5, attacking the bishop and also the knight. Bishop back to b2, bishop to g7, and here I was happy to find a checkmate. The computer's giving checkmate in 4. I did not find the checkmate in 4. It took me an extra move to figure it out. Here we go. Queen h7 check, king over to f8, rook over to f1. Now I'm threatening queen takes on g6, but here I missed the very good move. Queen takes on g7 check, which would have been a forced mate. Now I found a variation to this afterwards. After rook f1, I realized, oh my gosh, there's the idea. Knight to e6 check. He went ahead and took on g5. I don't think there was anything really better for him to do, and now I was able to do that checkmate in 4 here. Here we go. Knight e6 check. Pawn takes, because I'm threatening over here to take on g7 now. Queen takes, king over to e7. There's nothing he can do. Check and mate. Here I'm very happy to play just play against him. I was even more happy to get a winning attack against Nihal Surin. I'm not sure if he is yet, but he's definitely going to become a super GM at 2,700 FIDE. So to say that I got a win against him, I'm very happy and proud. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this. This was me playing against some of the best players. I won a few, definitely lost more, but again, I'm just a for fun casual player these days, and I'm happy I get to play against these guys. All right, guys, if you haven't already, go ahead and give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.